Hello everyone. In this video, I will tell you about mandibular molars.
Hey, before we begin, I would like to inform you about my new book on dental anatomy. It's High Yield Visual Dental Anatomy and it could be useful in various entrance examinations. Do check it out on Medina's app. You can download the app from Play Store and Apple Store. Thank you. So let's begin with the video.
They are larger than any other mandibular teeth. They function with maxillary molars in grinding food. Usually, the sum of the mesiodistal measurement of mandibular molars is equal to or greater than the combined mesiodistal measurement of all the teeth anterior to the first molar up to the midline. So the sum of mandibular molars is equal to the sum of both the premolars and all the three anteriors. Compared to maxillary molars, the crowns of mandibular molars are wider mesiodistally than buccolingually, while in maxillary molars, the buccolingual measurement is greater than the mesiodistal measurement. The mandibular molar crowns are rectangular or pentagonal from the occlusal aspect. Also, these crowns are rhomboidal and inclined to the lingual from a proximal aspect. The first molars are the largest and strongest mandibular molars, while the third molars are the smallest mandibular molars. First molar is the first permanent tooth to erupt in mandibular arch, while the third molars are the last teeth to erupt. The first mandibular molars have 5 well-developed cusps, and these are 2 buccal, 2 lingual and 1 distal cusp. The second and third molars usually have 4 cusps, and these are 2 facial and 2 lingual cusps. The mandibular third molar has the most variable crown morphology after the maxillary third molar. Let's now go to the facial aspect. The crown size and root length are largest for the first molar, followed by second, and these are least for the third molar. The root divergence is greatest for first molar, followed by second and least for the third molar. So most convergent roots are seen in third molars. Crown outline for all the molars from facial aspect is trapezoidal. All mandibular molars have 2 roots and they are mesial and distal roots. While the third molar may have multiple roots. They may be as many as 8 roots. Third molar crown usually resembles the second molar crown, though it is more bulbous. The mesiofacial cusp is the largest, widest and highest facial cusp in all the molars. And the distofacial cusp is often sharper than the mesiofacial cusp. So amongst the facial cusp, the mesiofacial cusp is larger and the distofacial cusp is sharper. The distal cusp in first molar is often the sharpest facial cusp. Both the lingual cusps are visible in first molar from this view. There are 2 facial grooves in first molar and they are mesiofacial and distofacial. The mesiofacial groove terminates in a pit, while there is no such pit in the distofacial groove, and only one facial groove is seen in second and third molars, and this groove terminates in a pit. The distal crown outline is more convex than the mesial crown outline. A developmental depression is often seen on the buccal surface in the middle third, which is oriented mesiodistally, and the mesial root is longer than the distal root in all the molars, while the distal root is straighter than the mesial root. In first molar, distal root apex is more pointed than the mesial root apex. So mesial root is round and distal root is pointed. In the second molar, both the apices are usually rounded, while in the third molar, the root apices are usually pointed. Root trunk in first molar on the facial side is about 3 millimeters and on the lingual side it is about 4 millimeters. And this root trunk is largest in third molar, followed by second and smallest in the first molar. Both the mesial and distal roots have a distal inclination, and this distal inclination of roots is greatest in third molar, followed by second and least in the first molar. You can observe that the root angle with occlusal plane becomes more and more acute from first to third molars. The distal root apex in first molar may project beyond the crown outline. Developmental depressions are present on the mesial and distal side of both the roots. Let's now go to the lingual view. The lingual crown taper decreases from first to third molar. So more of proximal surface is visible in first molar, followed by second and least in third molar. The mesiodistal measurement of second molar is greater than the first molar at the cervical margin. The lingual cusps are sharper and higher than the buccal cusps in both first and second molar, but in the third molar they are rounded instead of being pointed. The mesiolingual cusp is larger than the distolingual cusp in all the molars, and the mesiolingual cusp is the highest of all the cusps, including the lingual and facial cusps. There is a single lingual groove on all the molars, and it is shallower than the facial groove. Let's now go to the mesial aspect. Faciolingual crown dimension is greater than the cervico-occlusal crown dimension in all the molars. The crown outline can be described as rhomboidal. There are only two cusps visible, and they are mesiobuccal and mesiolingual, since these cusps are higher than the distal cusps. The lingual cusp appears sharper. The facial height of contour is in the cervical third for first and second molars, but it is in the middle third for the third molar. So facial height of contour is higher for the third molar. The lingual height of contour is in the middle third for all the molars. From mesial view, only mesial root is visible, as it is broader than the distal root. The mesial root apex is sharper in second molar as compared to the first and third molar. Now compared to the first and second molars, the cusp tips appear to converge in the third molar. So the distance between facial and lingual cusp tips is lesser in third molar as compared to the first and second molars. Let's now go to the distal view. As compared to the mesial view, more facial surface is visible as the crown tapers distally. The buccal surface shows more taper than the lingual surface. Notice in the second and third molars, not as much facial surface is visible as in the first molar. Some part of all the five cusps in first molar may be seen in this view. The end of the distobuccal developmental groove in first molar is located on the distal surface. So you can see the distobuccal groove here. No distobuccal groove is present in second and third molars. More occlusal surface is visible from distal as compared to the mesial view, as the distal marginal ridge is more cervical to the mesial marginal ridge. Since the distal root is narrower than the mesial root, the mesial root is visible in all the molars, but the visibility of mesial root is less in first molar. Notice only the lingual border is visible in first molar. Let's now go to the occlusal view. Mesiodistal dimension is greater than the faciolingual crown dimension by about 0.5 to 1.2 millimeters. In the first molar, the greatest faciolingual crown dimension is at the distofacial cusp. Here, the facial outline is most prominent, as you would notice. But the greatest faciolingual dimension in second molar is at the mesiofacial cusp. The occlusal crown outline form is either pentagonal or hexagonal in the first molar. In second molar, it is rectangular, and in third molar, it is ovoid. The third molar may have 4 or 5 cusps, so it may either resemble a second molar or a first molar. The third molar may have as many as 8 cusps, or sometimes even the distolingual cusp may be missing. So only 3 cusps may be identifiable. The facial surface visibility is more than the lingual surface, and this is due to lingual crown inclination. All the crowns taper lingually from buccal surface, and this taper is more in first molar, as compared to the second and third molars. All the crowns show a distal taper. This taper is more on the buccal surface than on the lingual and more in the first molar than in the second and third molars. Let's now see the relative cusp size in molars. In first molar, the largest cusp is mesiofacial, followed by mesiolingual, then distolingual, then distofacial, and the smallest cusp is distal. In second molar, again, the largest cusp is mesiofacial, followed by mesiolingual, then distofacial, and here the smallest cusp is distolingual. In second molar, the development of distofacial cusp is about same or more than in first molar. That's why here the smallest cusp is distolingual instead of distofacial, which was smaller in first molar. In third molar, mesiolingual cusp is the largest cusp, followed by mesiofacial, then distolingual, and distofacial is the smallest cusp. In all the molars, the highest cusp is mesiolingual, followed by distolingual, then mesiofacial, and then distofacial is the shortest cusp. But in first molar, the distal cusp is the shortest cusp. In all the molars, there are 3 fossae on the occlusal surface. Of these 3, one is major fossa, that is central, and 2 are minor fossae, that is mesial and distal triangular fossae. So amongst these 3 fossae, the central fossa is the largest and the distal triangular fossa is the smallest. The lingual triangular ridges are longer and higher than the facial triangular ridges. So lingual triangular ridges are more prominent. In first molar, there are 4 developmental grooves on the occlusal surface, and these are central groove, mesiofacial groove, distofacial groove, and lingual groove. In the second and third molars, there are only 3 developmental grooves, and they are central, buccal, and lingual grooves. The central groove pattern on first molar can be described as either zigzag mesiodistally or a W-shaped form. The central grooves on second and third molars form a plus or a +4 pattern on the occlusal surface. A +4 pattern implies that the central groove is in the shape of a plus and there are 4 cusps. So that's what +4 pattern means. A +5 would mean that there is a plus-shaped central groove pattern with 5 cusps. There are numerous supplemental grooves on the second and third molars. The pit and groove pattern is highly variable on third molars and therefore its occlusal surface often appears wrinkled. The occlusal table in third molar is ovoid in outline and it is narrower than the first and second molar. So that's all for now. Hope this video was helpful, and please like and share the video if you do find it helpful, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.